we're back continuing this training on how to rise to your full potential. I'm so glad that you've committed to you. It's a commitment to growing your potential, and I just want to say the urgency to listen to each video as we work through each of these sessions to help you move in the direction of becoming all that you've been created to become. In the last two sessions, we've discovered our gifts and the assignment that we've been called to. Now, for many, they think that they've got that sorted out, then everything else will fall into place. Unfortunately, we live in a time where people expect things to be handed to them on a silver platter, but that is far from the truth. Knowing your assignment is like owning a car, but unless you use that car, set the course, take your foot off the brake and put your foot on an accelerator, you're not going to get to your destination. If with your assignment you don't set a course, take your foot off the brake and put your foot on the accelerator, you will never step into your assignment. So we're trying to help you rise to your full potential. Session 1, we talked about the importance of having a coach. Session 2, lids that you can and cannot remove. Session 3, knowing yourself. Session 4, knowing what sets you apart. Session 5, knowing your assignment. Now, once you know your assignment, you now need to set your course. Now, the next session, we're going to talk about taking your foot off the brake and putting your foot on the accelerator. But today, session 6, set your course. It's about creating a pathway. Now, when you jump in your car and you plan to drive somewhere you've never been before, you'll likely do what I do. I take out the GPS, I plug the address in, and within milliseconds it figures out how to get you from where you are to where you need to, and it'll come up with the best possible ways to get there. But most of the time, it was going to give you the distance and the estimated time of arrival. Sometimes it'll give you 2, maybe 3 possible pathways that you could choose from. Now you know your assignment, it's time to set your course. Today, I'm going to help you practically set a course from where you are today to where you need to be. A homing pigeon is a very unique animal. In fact, there is only one other living being on the planet that can do what they can do. Now, before I tell you what that living being is, let me talk about a homing pigeon. You can take a homing pigeon, place it in a cage, throw a blanket over that cage, place it in the car, and drive 100 miles in any direction. You can stop that car, let that pigeon out, it's going to fly up, circle 3 times, and quickly figure out where it is and where it needs to go, and then it'll fly directly back to its home. Amazing. As I said, there's only one other living being on the planet that has the same ability. You can guess what it is, and that being is a human being. I'm talking about you. You have the ability to figure out where you are and where you need to get to. So making plans, setting goals is the next step in the process of arising to your full potential. Habakkuk 2:2 says to write the vision down, make it plain on tablets, so he who reads it can run with it. To set your course, number 1, you need to write down your goals. Doing life without goals is like driving in the fog. You'll go much slower and you're likely to miss your turnoff. And as soon as you write your goals down, it's like the fog has lifted and you can put your foot on the accelerator and you can speed off into your future. One study said that only 3% of people write their goals down. Personally, I would say less. Another study found that 3% with written goals were more happy and joyful about life than the other 97% that didn't. There's a story of a graduating class of students at Yale University in 1963. They found that 3% of them had written goals. And 10 years later, they went back. They found that 3% had more money than the 97% combined. Now, don't let your vision sit up here. The key is to write it down so it can be seen. The Message version of Habakkuk 2:2 says it this way: write it down in big block letters so that you can read it on the run. Why? When you have momentum towards your assignment, you need to be able to see it. Otherwise, you'll find yourself going off track or moving in other directions. Number 2, break that goal down to simple steps. Now, I want you to think of the Sahara Desert. It is the largest, hottest desert on the planet. In that, you're not going to see water, food, a blade of grass, or even a fly for miles. The Sahara nearly fills all of northern Africa, measuring approximately 300 miles from east to west, and between 800 and 1,200 miles from north to south, and has a total area of some 3,320,000 square square miles. There's one stretch approximately 500 miles across. More than 1,300 people have died crossing that particular stretch of the Sahara over years. With shifting sands, many travelers have got lost. In Brian Tracy's book Goals, he tells the story of crossing the Sahara Desert. He said you're able to cross the biggest desert in the world simply by taking it one barrel at a time. Many years ago, the French marked out the Sahara Desert with black 55-gallon oil drums that were exactly 5 kilometers apart, which is exactly the distance that Earth is before it crosses the horizon. So you would never get lost so long as you could see a drum behind and you could see a drum in front of you. They say that you can cross the Sahara Desert so long as you do it one barrel at a time. The problem is, if you do it at night and you can't see the drum, you can wander off track and it could lead you to your death. Here's my point. The biggest goal you can achieve can be achieved one barrel at a time. Eventually, that dream that's sitting inside of you, the goal can become a reality. Everyone has a Sahara to cross. The question is, will you make it? And it's easy if you do it one barrel at a time. It's been asked, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you climb Mount Everest? One step at a time. So the key is to take the dream, the assignment, break it down into bite-sized small steps so that you can follow it. Number 3, seek advice. Proverbs 11:4 says, where there is no counsel, people fail. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. This might shock you, but did you realize that you're not as smart as you think you are? Let me say it another way. You're likely more ignorant than you think you are. Did it ever dawn on you that there's someone out there that might have a better way of doing things? That someone else might have had the knowledge before you did? That someone else might have done the hard yards and learnt a few things along the way? Do you seek advice? This then leads to the question, well, who do I seek advice from? Number 1, others that have experience and knowledge in the field that you're moving in. Now, if they've been there and done that, ask them what did they do and what would they do differently if they were to do it all again. They're likely to have influence in their area and be connected to people of influence in that arena. Remember, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. A business coach once said to me that when he walks into a room, he's always acting like the dumbest person in the room. Now, the truth is, he's most likely to be the most intelligent in the room, but he takes the attitude of a student. This attitude has given him the edge to ask the right questions, which has led him to get favor and influence, and today he's called upon by business leaders to help take their companies and businesses to a new level. It's been said that you can rob a man of 20 years experience in 30 minutes if you learn to ask the right questions. So don't waste time with great people by asking stupid questions. When you know you'll be in the presence of greatness, plan what you're going to ask. Questions unlock doors to solutions you need. It's possible you haven't found the solution to something because you aren't asking the right question, or the question that you are asking, you're asking the wrong person. If you look closely, there is likely someone in your life right now that you can seek advice from. Continually be thinking smart and wise questions to ask when you're in the presence of greatness. You're going to find that people typically are very open to giving away their secrets and knowledge if you ask the right questions. By taking time with others, their wisdom and experience can save you hours, days, months, and even years. Sometimes you may find people that will actually unlock doors for you for a better day. Now, please note, if you ask the right question to the wrong person, it can have the reverse effect and add hours, days, months to the solution of your problems. So don't be asking your uncle who's owned no property how to buy a house, or your neighbor who's been bankrupt 7 times in his life to invest your $20,000 of savings. Now note the word in Proverbs, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. There is an S meaning many. So take time, invest time to meet with the right people, because they will help create a pathway for you. Number 2, ask God about it. Why not ask God, the being with the ultimate wisdom and knowledge about your circumstance? James chapter 4:2, you have not because you ask not. Did it ever dawn on you that He can see a better way and He's just waiting for you to ask the question? Revelation 3:8, I place before you an open door that no one can shut. Ask Him where that door is. Matthew 7:7-8, ask and it'll be given to you, seek and you'll find it, knock and the door will be opened. For anyone who asks receives, and anyone who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks, the door will be opened. Daily spend time in prayer, seeking God for answers, solutions, and strategy for your assignment. Now, why is it important to include God in the process of goal setting? We have to balance two scriptures. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision down, make it plain. And Proverbs 16:9 says, a man makes plans, but God sets the path. You can spend days making out the plan, but God may have a better path. Now we need to understand the nature of God and the nature of man. Now we as human beings, we want to know everything before moving forward. Throughout my life, I've discovered God's nature is to give me a dream and then maybe 1 or 2 steps, and then I just have to trust Him with future steps. Psalms 119:05, your word is a lamp and guide to my feet, a light for my path. In Old Testament days, they would strap a lamp on one of your ankles. Late at night in the dark, in the Middle Eastern places, a lamp was only bright enough to guide you on your next step. You couldn't see any further, only your next step. We want to know steps 8, 9, and 10 before stepping out on the road to our assignment. God says, take the first step, and when you're obedient with that, I'll give you step 2. And when you're obedient with that, I'll give you step 3. Let's recap. To set your course, number 1, you need to write down your goals. Number 2, break that goal down into simple steps. Number 3, seek advice. Number 4, make adjustments along the way. You need to be flexible and review your strategy along the journey. A yacht sets out on a journey and it can have unexpected winds that blow them off track. Your life can be like a yacht, having the winds of life blow you sideways for a season. A natural disaster, a global pandemic, a downturn in the economy, a death of a loved one. Each of these can come unexpectedly. The key is adjustments allow you to rethink, readjust so that you can get from where you are to where you need to be. Now what I'm about to tell you should get very excited about. Like a GPS, God knows how to get you from where you are to where you need to be. Let me say it another way. Wherever you think you are, God knows how to route you out of where you are and get you on the journey to where you need to be. Now I can hear some of you saying, but you don't know how far off track I am. Listen to me, you aren't a lost cause. God knows how to get you from where you are to where you need to be. Remember Jonah? God came to him and said to him to go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because the wickedness has come up against me. Now he should have been excited about God choosing him, but instead he went on the run in the opposite direction. Paid a fare, jumped on a boat, and the boat hit a storm, and people in the boat discovered that the storm was there because of Jonah. So what did they do? They threw him overboard. The next thing, he finds himself inside the belly of a whale. He's now at the lowest of lows. Many believe that when they go off track that God writes us off. Some think that God curses us. Some think that God gives up on us. Others think that God says, well, I'm done with you. I've thought about moments that I've gone off course driving a car. I've never heard the GPS say, are you serious? I'm done with you. Every time you ask me directions and you end up taking your own path. What's the point? I'm not dealing with you ever again. Many think that he's given up on you when in fact it was actually you that gave up on him. I've never heard the GPS say, you stupid idiot. What a fool. What a flippin' loser you are. I gave you a simple command to turn left and oh no, you had to drive straight on. Many think that God is looking down on you in disgust, having a good old gossip session with all the angels. I've never heard the GPS say, I don't know what to do. Oh no, he took the wrong turn. Oh, a freak out moment. By the way, God's not upstairs saying, quick, angels, you have to help me out. I don't know what to do. God doesn't freak out. He doesn't have a panic attack. He doesn't have a mental breakdown. He knows exactly what to do to get you out of your mess. He knows how to reroute you from where you are to where you need to be. Let's see what happens. What does the GPS do when you take a wrong turn? It immediately reroutes the best path and gets you back on course to where you need to be. And as it is with GPS, so it is with God. The thing is, He's already got the answer. If you mess up, if you go off track, God has already figured out the best way out and get you where you need to be. Let's get back to Jonah. God routed him from the belly of the whale onto the beaches of Nineveh, and he stood up and he preached and delivered the word of God, turning an entire city over to God. I'll say it again. God knows how to get you from where you are to where you need to be. Now I find this session many get very excited about but actually end up doing nothing. I've heard people say, well, I intend to write down visions. Let me make this clear. Intention means nothing. Action means everything. So I urge you, for the sake of your future, take time that is needed to write down the vision, create a pathway forward. So don't miss the next session. It's the final session in this journey that we've been taking, rising to your full potential.